Oh, here we go. A little late, but we're rolling. All right. If you come on, give me some thumbs up. Tell me where you're coming from. What'd your workout look like this morning? Topic of the day is how do you eat an elephant? Drop it down below. If you're watching live, drop a 1. If you're watching the replay, drop a 2. If you're this first time, drop a 3. Who's this crazy guy? Lunch with Baum anyway. I love to connect with you. Appreciate all of you. All right. What is happening? Who's coming on? Johnny, Cody, what's crack-a-lackin'? All right. Topic of the day is how do you eat an elephant? Hey, I'm Frank Baumholtz. Been a high school strength coach and PE teacher for 21 years. Run my own gym, MVP. Johnny, what is up? Anyway, just some quick announcements and then I'll get into the topic. But just some MVP stuff. If you haven't been by and you're in Mac, swing over to our new location. It's right behind the Sears, right in the middle of town, across from the Baker Field by the high school. All right. We've got our adult group training. We have our sport performance training. And the best thing that we just started is we got our batting cages up. All right. So we're offering hitting lessons for baseball and softball. Tomorrow, I've got a 9 a.m. catching clinic running. We've got a arm care pitching clinic running at 10 o'clock. And then let's see, what else we got going on? Yep, that's about it. So our adult stuff, we got our group stuff, we got our sport performance work. The batting cages are all up and running. We have drop-in fees as well as our membership fees as well. What's up, boys? Hunter, Jordan, Tanner, yo. All right, you guys better not be watching in class. All right. Anyway, okay, so here we go. How do you eat an elephant? Tracy already dropped it down on my other post. Arlene, what's happening? How's the body feeling? All right. Hey, we did a 40-15 circuit this morning at MVP. Hang on a second. Got something going on. Oh, you guys are at wrestling. Awesome. Good luck. Anyway, we did a 40-15 circuit this morning, Arlene. It was crazy train. All right. Anyway, how do you eat an elephant? You eat it one bite at a time, right? It's like people that, how do you lose weight? 1 pound at a time. How do you get from A to B? One step at a time. So we're finishing up week 3, Fit Friday. I always like giving names to different days, right? We got Metabolic Monday. We got Fit Friday. So, hey, so we're in week 3, right? And if you talk to folks, if you lose about a pound a week, all right, so you should be 2018, right? New you should be 3 to 6 pounds down this week. End of this week, you should be. Rena, what is happening? Tell everybody where you're at. All right, you should be 3 to 6 pounds down. If you lose 1 to 2 pounds a week, somewhere in that range. All right, it's A to B. How do you eat an elephant? You got to just start taking bites. Keep working. 3 years from now, how good do you think you're going to feel? All right. That's the crazy thing is, someone was asking me this morning, what are some of the rules that you use? Okay. I love Forrest Gump, so I'm going to keep it real simple. Okay. Rule number 1, good nutrition. Rule number 2, follow rule number 1. And rule number 3, you need to exercise every single day. And I'm not talking about metabolic craziness or, if you can get 2 strength workouts a week and maybe two cardio sessions, maybe a third, okay, you're going to be right in the money. All right, maybe it's a 20-minute walk, maybe it's a metabolic workout. All right, but for me, the folks that are having the most success, the clients and folks that I get to work with, is they're in that 2 to 4 sessions a week regularly. Okay, now your body's going to adapt over time. The cells in your body are going to regenerate over time. You got to keep going. Most people, number 1, they don't start. And number 2, they get into something that isn't sustainable and then they can't stick with it. So you got to build the foundation before you can do all the flashy, crazy stuff, right? So build a strength foundation, okay? Build a nutritional foundation, and then slowly add and build on top of it. Like I mentioned, if you can get 2 strength sessions a week and 2 cardio or metabolic sessions a week, that's really kind of right in the the sweet spot where you want to go. Now, it's not an exact science. You can talk to 10 different nutritionists and 10 different strength coach, and they're going to each give you a little bit different. And honestly, one of my best responses to someone when they're asking me questions is I just say, it depends. Well, what's the best nutritional plan? Depends on you. What's the best workout plan? Depends on you. Everybody's different. There's no one cookie cutter thing that is going to work. But the one thing I do know, and the one thing that a lot of folks know, is that if you give the body good nutrition and you slowly adapt over time, success is going to be way easier than shooting the fire hose at somebody, and then they don't know how to handle it, and then they finally quit and give up. Okay, how many times have you walked into a gym on your own? It is so overwhelming with all the equipment and all the stuff that's out in front of you, you have no idea what to do. It happens all the time. I talk to folks all the time. We were talking just this morning about not having a coach, not having someone kind of walk you through it so that you could, the bite out of the elephant, right? Little steps. If you keep going, it's got to be sustainable, right? You got to have that. I've talked a ton about goal setting and having a plan and, positive self-talk and all that stuff, is that you got to be able to just take a little bite. You got to take a little bite. You got to take a little bite, right? One of the biggest things is you have to be good before you're great. You have to walk before you run, okay? You got to show up before you ever have success, okay? So those little things that are put in place, if you don't have a nutritional plan, you don't have an exercise plan, you don't have a coach, you don't have a life goal set in place, some of those things, those are the first places to start. I've talked a ton about the power of the pen. Get a piece of paper out and a pencil and write things down. It's funny that my talks keep coming back to those things, but it's just like any of the teams that I've coached in the past, whether it's baseball or softball or football and things, so we break and this is, you could set your day up this way, right? Is you get a piece of paper out. What's your warm-up look like each day? All right. You have your warm-up. All right. You go into your individual drills. Maybe those are just some goal setting for the day. Then you have some group drills and you have some things planned out. And then you have your team activities. And then you have your conditioning at the end. And then you have specialty work after that once practice is all done. So that when you get out into the real game or the real job or your real life situation, right, that you're ready to go, you're prepared, okay? So that's the whole point about taking a bite, one bite at a time, one step at a time, okay? Let's see. Questions. Who's got some questions for me? All right, you coming on? Drop some thumbs up if you value what I got going on. I appreciate every one of you. Just a quick review, we're talking about 3 basic nutritional things, all right? Rule number 1 is good nutrition. Rule number 2, follow rule number 1. And rule number 3 is exercise every day. If you need a plan, I was talking with someone just a few seconds ago, you need good nutrition, you need to not overeat, you need to make sure that you're getting rid of all the nastiness that's in your body. You got to message me and talk to me because we have a great nutritional plan that we instill at MVP, and it's who else is coming on here? What is happening? All right. Anyway, what do I say about nutrition when you're sick? Well, number 1, you got to hydrate. Go back to prevention. Prevention is the key. Make sure you're washing your hands. Make sure you're getting the good nutrition. If you've never looked into Moringa oleifera, our super mix is the best nutrition on the planet, and that's not just me. I was just reading an article, National Institute of Health. Google Moringa oleifera. What's the most nutritious plant ever discovered on Earth? That's what I recommend to all my clients. That's what I use every single day. National Institute of Health. It was a plant of the year in 2008. Just do the research. It is amazing to me how so many people are sick. And the doctors, what do they tell you? They say, hey, go get a flu shot and things. Well, when the flu shot is only 10 to 15% effective for this year, and other years is probably not much higher than that, right? And you make your decision on what your belief on flu shots and stuff is. But the thing that I know 100% is when you give the body good nutrition, The body has this unbelievable ability to self-regulate itself and fight off all the crazy toxins that we're faced with every single day. I teach in a public school, and you can imagine, I'll joke and say the cesspool of all the germs and kids. I see hundreds and hundreds of kids come through the gym every single day. So I'm constantly using my hand sanitizer and making sure that I'm hydrated, and I make sure that I eat good, and I fill in the gaps where I'm deficient. So that's what I say about that. So when you're sick, pump the fluids. Make sure you get good nutrition in. Sometimes you can't eat a full meal. Some of the simple things, not so much, all the acids type stuff, but, basic nutrition. Make sure you're hydrated. It's hard when you're sick to kind of get stuff down, but you got to make sure you get more lean protein, your fruits and vegetables. I always tell folks, lean proteins and fruits and vegetables are free game. And then if you're dragging all the time, you're trying to lose weight, try to limit the amount of grains. If fat loss is your number one goal, avoid grains like the plague. Get your carbohydrates from your fruits and vegetables. People eat, just look at the standard American diet. Pasta night, right? I got this huge plate of pasta, and I have this tiny little serving of vegetables or fruit. It's like, try flipping your portions. It's one of the strategies that I use. So I have this big plate of fruits, vegetables, or one of the ones I love to do, especially pasta night, is have a nice big salad with a small little serving of pasta, and then I put my meat sauce or my sauce all over the top of the over my salad, and use that as my dressing versus having a giant plate of pasta, and then all of a sudden you're like, I feel fat and happy, and then I'm wondering why I can't hit my goals, right? So, and then like I mentioned earlier, fill in the gaps. Fill in the gaps with the best nutrition available on the planet. If you need, and like I mentioned, if you need a coach, if you need accountability, if you need a plan, something that you can help you get from A to B, it's easy to work out. It's easy to show up. I mentioned the other day about where do I have the most impact on my clients. I have the most impact on my clients when they're not with me. 168 hours in the week, right? So even if they work out with me 7 days a week, 168 hours, that still leaves 161 hours out of the week. And who works out 7? Even me. I work out 4 to 6 days a week. Like this morning was crazy train. We smashed it. But it's not always like that. But, even then, 161 to 163 hours out of the week that you need to do a good job, that you need to have things dialed in, that you need to take the bite out of your elephant each day, right? So if you don't have a plan, if you don't have that system in place when you're not in the gym, it's easy to stop at Taco Bell. It's easy to stop at McDonald's. It's easy to do those, crazy things and overeat. And then, I eat because I'm hungry, but then I eat garbage. So I have all these calories going in with zero nutrients, and then a few minutes later, oh shoot, I'm hungry again. So I eat, and then the cycle starts, right? I eat, there's no nutrition, so then I eat, there's no nutrition, I eat, and all of a sudden I'm sick, and then I self-medicate, and then I eat because it makes me feel good, or the medicine makes me feel better, and then I eat, and then this whole cycle keeps going and going and going again. And you want to know why people are sick, overweight, out of shape? It's like because they have no plan. They don't know how to take a bite out of the elephant and keep going and make it sustainable. Most people, they jump into something, they go hog wild for about 2 days, and then they're done, right? You got to have a better system in place, a better plan in place with your workouts, with your nutrition. It all starts with your goal setting, your mindset, and your belief in the things that you're going to do. So, once again, if you need a little helping hand, I want to help you take a bite out of your elephant. All right, message me, shoot me a comment. If you need some better nutrition, hit me up with that. I've got my MVP transformation plan. I've got my training options at MVP and MVP Online. And even then, just, if you need a little accountability, a little kick in the rear, check up from the neck up, go ahead and message me. I'd love to help you out. All right, once again, I value you. If you value what I got going on, like it, share it. If you want a little bonus footage, jump over on my Insta Live. I'm going to let that run for a couple of minutes. But remember, one bite at a time, one step at a time. You got to be good before you're great. You got to walk before you can run, but you got to keep going. All right? Lunch with Baum. I'm out here. I'll go over my Insta and keep that running for a second.